Welcome to Shropshire. This will be a small exploration of parts of the Shropshire Union Canal. Our walk today is near the village of St Martin's, which in turn is just north of Oswestry. I absolutely love canals and being by the canal side. I don't know if it's the simple complexity of them or the complex simplicity of them. Maybe it's just the overriding sense of peace and tranquility by a canal. Canals are excellent places to go for a walk. Let's face it, there isn't much in the way of hills when you go for a walk by a canal. And if the canal is in use, usually there'll be a towpath which is open for access. They're not always shown as paths on the Ordnance Survey. From a photographic point of view, a lot of things come together by a canal. There's the geometry of the canal itself and the associated infrastructure. Lots of wildlife. There's always some activity going on, be that with the boaters or those who live by the canal. Not to mention the beautiful scenery, of course. In this case, the Shropshire Hills in the distance there. There's also another aspect to it from a photographic point of view, and I'll come to that later on. First, here's some scenes from around the canal on my walk today. Welcome back. The lock you saw in that sequence and just beyond it, quite a remote piece of the path. Very peaceful. The boat that just went past was once much more of a common sight. But these boats travel across the network selling coal and fuel and other items for the boaters. I've mostly seen holiday makers here in their boats, but also looks like there's a few long-term canal lifers. I have done a narrowboat holiday myself and really enjoyed it. I filmed part of it and I'll leave a link in the description below. As much as it is great fun, it's also quite expensive. The next part of my walk, I'm going to divert from the towpath into the village of St Martin's itself. There seems to be a church at the top of the hill in the distance. Now, the walks on the towpath are by their nature very linear. You go there and back. However, by looking at the Ordnance Survey, you can often match up with paths and lanes, usually where there are bridges. Now, from this point of the walk, I have 2 or 3 options. Sadly, that one leads to a field which is several inches deep in mud. However, in the distance there's a bridge which links to a little lane heading into the village. When I say lane, I mean more of a main road. There was a quieter track down by the bridge, but it seemed to lead back to the muddy field. I was hoping for a wider selection of shops than that. Normally I would like nothing better than to explore the churchyard and maybe go inside as well. However, today a funeral is taking place. Showing back the church. I'm going to return to the towpath and explore a little more on the other side of the village. first, there is a small matter of some shopping. Ah, Stan's Superstore. Perfect. I have to say, Stan's Superstore. I have to say, Stan's Superstore turned out to be a real cornucopia delight. I just don't have room in my rucksack for all the plastic gnomes. Or shag pile rugs. So I made do with orange juice and a freshly prepared salad. Back to the towpath. Found a slightly different way back to the towpath, but once again I'm bogging myself down in mud. I should say, however, that the abundance of water in an area like this is a good thing for the canal. I'm sure that many of these ditches I'm seeing will be part of a plan. So here I am, back at the point where I joined the canal earlier this morning. And have a quick explore in the opposite direction. Now, I don't want to get too techie on the channel, but I've just learnt on this walk that a £1.50 GoPro tripod from a well-known online retailer is worth exactly £1.50. And it doesn't work very well as a two-legged tripod. So you may notice a lack of jaunty angles for the camera work for the remainder of this video. Thank you, tree stump. A couple of things struck me about St Martin's. Firstly, it wasn't the leafy, quiet village I was expecting. I think the view of the church at the top of the hill kind of suggested something to me. It's actually quite a busy place, and as I discovered, a former mining community. The second thing that struck me was because of that mining connection. The architecture of the housing estates reminded very much of similar estates in East Kent, where you will also find former mining communities. Now, that busyness of the village couldn't be further from the tranquility I'm experiencing here on the towpath. But the history of the village and the canal brings me to my final point of photography when doing canal walking. This particular canal has been open for just less than 200 years, and everything that surrounds the canal, the communities, the infrastructure, is showing that age in different ways. So the other thing I look for when photographing near a canal is evidence of entropy and the passage of time. In the final sequence of this film, I'm going to explore that process of aging through still photography. That was an exploration of a small part of the Shropshire Union Canal. I have been your avuncular host. Thanks for watching.